Looks like we made it. Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I am not sure how long tonight's live stream is going to be. I'm trying to tell myself that it's not going to be that long, but you never know. I see Geraldine is in the chat. Let me know if you can actually hear me. I know a lot of people are. I know like my main moderator, Victor, he is out of town right now. So let's all wish him the very best. And where he's at, he went to Mount Shasta. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah. Well, I wish I had my lipstick on before I came out here. Oh well. Anyway, starting a little bit later than I thought I would too. First of all, apparently, I thought it was 3 years that I've been going live, but it's not been three. Oh, gosh, I haven't even gotten confirmation that you guys can hear me in the chat. I really hope you can. I hope Geraldine or someone like Geraldine. Can you hear me, Geraldine? I don't want to start talking. Oh, good. There's Angel Lord. I'm sure you guys can hear me then. Okay. All right. That's great. Oh, okay. Hi there. Hello. Hi, it's Matt. Okay. And your screen name is just hello. Well, hello, Matt. Nice to see you. um, yeah. So I didn't really. Okay, cool. Okay, I figured you guys. I figured if you were saying hi, you could hear me. But again, like I said, I don't know how. I don't know how long I'm going to last out here today because I am not feeling that great. Apparently, I've been fighting a ear nose throat chest infection. I'm assuming now for a couple of months that was part of what I thought this whole pain in my neck has been. You know, like so it's like yeah, I've just been living with it. I thought it was like a muscle pull or something like that, but apparently I don't think it was just a muscle pull and overusing my muscles anymore. And I'm thinking maybe because I know I've been talking to you guys, I kind of update you guys on what's been going on with me like every time before I start the talk or whatever. And well, nice to see you here then. Glad that we met up at the conference. I see. Sorry guys, I'm responding to hello Matt in the chat. We met at the conference apparently. So there's quite a few Matts I know though, so you might have to narrow it down a little bit for me. I'm sure it'll come back to me, but Anyway, so I think that I honestly have been struggling with this infection for a while, and I don't know. I'm still having these heart palpitations, guys. So if there's any chance that you guys could just say a little prayer for me and helping me figure out like what has been going on here, like physically for me. I'm just really confused now. Like I literally went in a panic to the doctor thinking like, okay, well, I've been like looking like I'm like, I know that there is something wrong, but why aren't the doctors figuring it out? They're like, it's panic attack. And granted, it might be. I have recently kind of touched on some old wounds that I hadn't really looked at in years and years and years. And so that partly could be it, but I'm starting to think that it might have just been the infection, but my mind was spinning so fast and I was like, oh, you know what? Diabetes runs in my family. I must have diabetes. Like that must be why I'm not gaining weight and all this stuff. And I went to the doctor and I actually gained 3 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, hold on. Ah, okay, yes, I remember. I know now. Okay, the one who won the free book. I remember you now. Because I was kind of hoping I would win that book. So it's kind of funny. You won the book. All right, I remember you now. Nice to see you. Lovely as always. So let me see. Let me get back on track though, because now I'm getting distracted by the chat, guys. So nice to see you, Braden. Glad you're here. And Christian, thank you for the well wishes. Very much appreciate that. So I am honestly just coming here almost diary style again, just to give you a little update of some of the weird synchronicities and things that have happened. Let you know how the conference went, which the conference was great. I'm just going to say that right now, that if you guys get an opportunity to go to one of these conferences, especially the Full Disclosure Now ones, it's worth going because these have been, like, you can tell when someone who organizes the event is really, they're like, their heart is in the right place for it. And gosh, I feel like I'm being washed out by this light here. Almost like I need to dim it a little bit. Anyway, you can tell when someone is running it for the right reasons, and I can definitely tell that Brian is coming from the right place when it comes to throwing these things together, and it makes it just so enjoyable. And I had a blast with hanging out with everyone. It was really funny to me because like everyone kept thinking that I was a speaker, which I was like, I have been a speaker before, but I'm not a speaker at this particular conference. But I got a few lineups to be on some shows for people. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you guys know when that is happening. I also was just recently on, gosh, what was the name of the radio show? I'm going to post it in the comments after this, the link to, so for you to actually be able to listen to. I was on a radio show with, I just know the name of the host, which is Eric Burkholder. Okay. And so he does this radio show, and it actually kind of lined up with one of the Heart songs that was for the conference, because, Spirit always gives me some songs for the conferences that I'm going to. They give me usually one dream and like one or two songs. And so it's usually a stroke song. It's always a stroke song. There's always got to be at least one stroke song as a message for me. And so this time it was a song that I don't actually listen to all that often, but it still lined up. And it was called Electricity Scape by the Strokes. And I thought it was so funny because the beginning of it even starts off with basically saying like, there's like strangers here for me to impress, and old friends don't even notice me. Like they walked right by me. And like the whole song, like I said, like you belong on the radio, and then I ended up being on the radio. Like that was my next plan. That was who I was talking to there, was Eric, and lining up the radio show that I was going to be on for him. But what was so funny about that opening line even was that when I got there, I had in my mind, like I'm focused, like I'm looking for my particular friends. I'm looking for my friend group. And as I'm walking, I'm like, I see the bar that I recognize and I know, and I'm walking straight toward this bar, and I like have pictures of them in my head. I'm like scanning to look for them. And my boyfriend, who was with me, Braden, and he was like, you just walked right past them, and I was like, oh shit, so like right then off, I'm like, okay, so that song did line up. All right, so it was that song. And then I woke up hearing this other song this morning, which I'll talk about in a minute, because I ended up watching this movie from which this song was from, which happened to be a movie that I absolutely loved as a kid or as a young girl. And I think this is the right generation to where some of you might actually remember it. And the movie was called Chances Are, which, watching old movies when like from your youth to now and being able to compare them and look at it, it's so funny when you go back and you look at it with new eyes. It was really wild. But anyway, I had told you guys that I had a dream about the conference, or at least I was pretty sure that it was a dream about the conference. And so it happened. It was a dream about the conference. Okay, I had this dream that basically there was this, I was hanging out with a group of friends, and we were at this like tropical location type of area. It was like a resort, I could tell. And there was this cat that had like a burn on it. Okay. And I went to go pick up this cat. And when I picked up this cat, it shapeshifted it was like a gray cat that had a burn on it, like one of its legs. Okay. And then it shapeshifted into a Sphinx cat. And then it shapeshifted again into I was holding it, and shapeshifted into the Sphinx cat. And I said, thank you for letting me hold you, because this cat was really letting me really hold it. And so I put it down, and then it shapeshifted into a little white dog, and then it trotted off, and it shapeshifted one more time into this white dragonfly. Okay. And then I ended up sitting at this table, and I was sitting next to one of my best friends, and my boyfriend was there. My first boyfriend was there, and he had some family with him. And the family, this female, basically, she gave me these golden ribbons. And like one ribbon was like, it's hard to explain this, how it looked in the dream. It was like, they were two different types of ribbons. One was a light gold ribbon. It was like just plain what you think a ribbon looks like. And then the other one looked more like lacy. It looked like it had more like intricate like metallic threads going through it, okay, like a gold ribbon. So when I got my costume, which I ended up being Athena, okay, when I got my costume, it ended up being gold strings, okay. And so immediately I thought, oh, this is a sign that I chose the right costume, and this is the costume I was meant to have, because I was really nervous about buying it. They're not, I don't buy cheap costumes when it comes to this type of stuff. And so I realized that I thought it was silver the whole time. Honestly, when I got it, I went back and I looked on the thing, and it said gold. So I had to buy all these gold accessories. The whole time I thought it was silver. So it was so funny the way it worked out that in my dream I was given these two yellow ribbons, and then I noticed, okay, everyone had a badge, okay, and the badge had a ribbon around it, and all the guests had purple ribbons, but the speakers had yellow ribbons. So I just thought that was so ironic, considering, that everyone kept confusing me as a speaker and thinking that I was a speaker there. And I also had this yellow dress, this gold dress that was made out of all these like ribbon like things. Okay. So it matched up. And not only that, but the whole time I was getting ready for the conference, I kept running into these little, little types of white, was a white moth, a pure white moth I ran into, and I would share it with my best friend, right? And I ran into, I even saw a white and black dragonfly, and I'd share that to her, and it just so happens that she is recovering still from having a burn on her. And I kind of had this feeling from the get-go when I had the dream. I was like, she's going to let me hug her really good. I was like, because I remember in the dream, I like held the cat and I was like, thank you for letting me hold you, and so, and that did happen, like I got some really good hugs there. I felt really cared about. I felt really loved. I had these special gifts that I brought, and they went off. They like, when I gave them, you could tell that it actually meant something, that was really exciting, so like I had a really great time. I don't know what else to say. I think you guys should definitely try to come, and but since then I have been continuing to have dreams, and now I will tell you guys that for sure, I know for sure that when you wear nicotine patches at night, you will have dreams. You will remember your dreams. It's kind of crazy. All right. But so anyway, so part of what I noticed since then, all right, was I had this dream. First of all, I was confronted after the conference by this girl that was there at the conference, and she said she had heard me talking bad about her. And what she said, it's weird because I had heard that being said about her, some stuff like this being said about her, but I was not actually saying these things about her to anyone, you know what I'm saying? But she came at me after the conference, and I just told her, no, I didn't say that, and I'm really sorry about that, that it happened. I do think I remember someone hearing that, but that wasn't from me, and I thought it was really funny because my daughter, before I went to the conference, she slipped on these two bracelets that I'm wearing right now, and the bracelets are white, one's white, one's black, and it says reputation. See, now the universe speaks in symbols. You have to realize that is how the universe and God talks to you. That's why symbols are so important, and what they mean to you, what you take away from it. That is, in my heart, that is what guides you and leads you on further in your ascension process or your self-actualization process, right? So I knew going into it, I was like, I'm going to be seeing like the good and the bad side of reputations, and so I had this dream. That my hair was different, that my hair looked like this girl who confronted me, but it looked like her hair, like it was blonde, and it had like some pink in it and everything like that, and people were complimenting me on it, and they were like, oh, I like your hair, in the dream. And I looked in the mirror in the dream, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, where's my blue hair? I was so upset in this dream. I literally started crying. I was so upset that my hair was different. And I was thinking, how long is it going to take for me to get it back to blue? You know what I'm saying? And then the next morning, I was having all these thoughts, and thinking about my boyfriend and stuff like that, thinking about different experiences that we had had when we were down there. And I was really, I don't know, I was just having all these different, like a little conversation, I guess, go like reviewing it, going over it. And it just so happened that later on that day, as usual, he ended up saying all the things that I had been thinking about. Okay. So this is what really has me messed up, guys, because I don't really know how this works. I'm really still trying to figure this out. But when that happens, and this is, like I said, this happens a lot for me, okay? For people I'm connected to, or I don't know if it's just that I don't know who's having the thought first, right? Who, like, did he say these things because I was reviewing these things and I was having these conversations with him in my mind, and so therefore he decided to speak up, and he said it? Because this is what came to mind since that happened again. This is like the second big time where it's like he's saying word for word all the things that I was hearing already. I thought about the fact that maybe I had sent that girl, since I had, remember, she confronted me and she said, I heard you were saying these things about me, right? And I was like, no, I didn't say those things, but I did hear someone else say those things about you. And now I'm wondering, I'm like, is this how it works? And was I thinking those things? Because there was a point in time where I was like, kind of, I guess maybe directing it at her, or like telling her. There was a point where she like kind of got on my nerves a little bit about something. And so I was like saying these things, and I'm like, is that really how this works now? Is that really how connected that we all are? That maybe there are times that we are literally having these thoughts about ourselves when, like, you know how they say, like, how you make people feel is so important, right? Like what people take away, it's not so much even what you say, it's like how they felt about whatever it is that you did or whatever it is that you said. And I'm thinking maybe that's part of the reason why, because we are connected, and that it's gonna, like, if we're one being, then it's gonna be like ping ponging off of each other, and we're actually getting those messages. Like, what if people think that they're being targeted, let's say, somehow, okay, and they're hearing all these bad thoughts, but maybe they've just been a real asshole to people, and people are really just thinking these things about them, and they're getting all those messages, and they're like, oh no, I'm targeted. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if it's something like that? Even, I'm like, these are just hypotheses. I'm just going down these rabbit holes. This is the stuff I think about. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like how much do I really need to control here? Because I didn't want to make that girl feel bad. Maybe I did. Maybe I got a little bit of that karma in that dream where I was like devastated that my hair looked the same as hers. Like, I'm like, no, my blue hair, where did that go? So anyway, so that's somewhat, like I said, I'm trying to keep this to be a short stream today. It's been 2 years since I've started doing my, oh, hi Maureen, hi Matthew, hi guys. It's been 2 years. I thought it was 3, but actually it's only been 2 years. When I went and I looked back on my YouTube channel, it said that my first post or whatever on here was a 2 years ago post. And I'm like, are they sure about that? I could have swore it's been 3, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I'm losing track of the years now, I guess you could say. Like, I'm usually pretty good about keeping on point with this happened this year, like, because I have this app that helps me do that. Okay. And it's called the Time Hop app. And what the Time Hop app does is it shows you every year on that day what it was that you posted every year on that day. So it helps me see patterns. Like, I want to see, like, are there yearly patterns? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So let's see. The other thing that I thought was very interesting and weird, and again, this is why I'm like, how does this mental stuff, how is this sending, receiving, telepathy stuff, how does it really working? I'm asking for spirit to be able to explain it to me in a more detailed way, because we can't know anything. That's the thing. When you're connected to source and you're truly tuned in, God will give you the answer to anything you want to know. Like, there is nothing that's off limits. It's just a matter of, what do you want to know? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your desire? Because not everyone's going to want to know the same thing. So I really want to know, and I'm really asking God, like, help me understand how this really works. Help me refine my abilities a little bit here, but just through the understanding of it, even perhaps. Okay, because if you remember, any of you guys that were here for, I think my last stream before I went to the conference, where I was admitting to, like, you know, here's pieces of my story and here's what I was saying with the pieces of my story. You know, for instance, like I was saying, we're the original angels, right? We're holding the original template of the blue flame Melchizedek line, right? And from pretty much from that stream for the next week, literally the biggest compliment that I kept getting repeatedly was, "You're an angel. You're an angel. You're an angel." People were writing in my comment. People who hadn't even watched my stream. "Oh my God, you're a real life angel. You're an angel." And I'm just like, dude, they don't even realize, like, I just got done like owning this. It's like I stepped into it. I stepped fully into accepting that part of myself. And it was like God gave me recognition through other people, through other selves. Right. And so I thought that was really cool. And I was really happy about that. And so that's why it was so funny to me when this random song came to me again. It's called After All by Cher, and it's a duet. And I can't remember what the guy's name is, but anyway, I kept hearing I didn't even know the words correctly. I just knew, "We keep coming back to these two hearts, two angels who've been rescued from the fall," right? And that was the theme for me lately, right? Was angels. Okay, that were angels. So two angels have been rescued from the fall. All right. And so I go and I look at the song, and of course the video, they have this great, and I posted at the beginning of the stream. They have this video, and it's basically little clips from this movie I had totally forgotten about. Okay. And now, so listen to how crazy this movie is. All right. Now, God, so funny. This is one of the movies I used to love. They would play it. You know how they used to repeat movies on a different show, like let's say the Lifetime Network or the Hallmark Channel, right? And they would just replay old movies and stuff. And so there was this movie, and I loved it. It had Robert Downey Jr. in it, and Sybil Shepherd, and what would not Madeline Stowe. I love Madeline Stowe though, but Mary. Oh gosh, I didn't really ever like this actress very much, but she was very popular. She was in Fried Green Tomatoes too. She has blonde. Mary Stuart Masterson. There we go. Okay, and so it was these three actors mainly, and this was the movie. And now I'm like, I look back, I'm like, cannot believe, like, so I was always drawn to movies about reincarnation, right? And there were very few movies out there that were about reincarnation. Yeah, yes, you remember it? Yes, Sharon Peter. Sorry, Maureen in the chat is naming it for me. Do you? I miss you guys. I miss Gus and Maureen. I miss you. I miss all of you guys. Seriously, I've been in like a week-long depression after I came back. I was like so fucking depressed. I mean, I can't even tell you how deep it went, but it was pretty fucking bad. So anyway, but back to what I'm talking about. It's called Chances Are. I loved this fucking movie. Okay, so how it starts is there's this couple, okay, and it's I don't know the actor's name, but it's Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. That guy, all right, but he was actually like a cool character because he was younger in this movie. So this couple, okay, they're living their life, and they wake up in the morning, and she's like, I got a surprise for you. And she tells him, I'm pregnant, you know? And so he's like, oh my God, this is going to be great. He goes on doing his day thing. And he goes and he buys her these really special pair of earrings he's going to give her. They're going to meet up later that night for dinner. And on his way to meet up for dinner, he gets hit by a car and dies. Now, here's what's funny though, is because I actually went and rewatched this movie, but when I had recounted it, I pretty much had memorized it, which was really funny. Like I was able to give a recount to my boyfriend, like super easy. It was really funny to me. So anyway, let's continue though. Just to try and wrap it up. Because I just think it's so funny these are the examples that they give us out there back in the 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying? So the guy dies, right? And then they basically show that he goes to heaven. And when he goes to heaven, there's like this line, and he's like, no, I got to get back to my wife. I have dinner date with her tonight. So you're going to have to let me go back down there like right now. And he's like, listen, buddy, you're going to skip the line. You have to wait your turn. We have to, he's like, here, you know, here's a new life. And they give him like a ticket, like, here, you can be reborn. This is the closest we could get you to her. And you can go ahead and go. And so he goes to leave to be reincarnated. But one of the angels, the angel that's supposed to give him the amnesia shot, forgets to do that. Okay. So he goes, he's reborn. He starts living his life. So basically, you got to realize that he is growing up around the same time that the guy who died, his daughter, would be growing up. They're growing up around the same time. And so, as it so happens, this guy who was previously the husband, right? This guy ends up running into the Mary Stuart Masterson character, which is the daughter now. Okay. She's all grown up. Okay. She's studying in the library. He works in the library. And it just so happens that through chance, a set of circumstances, he ends up being invited back to the home. Now, this is what was fucked up, I thought, about this fucking movie. Okay. It's like, who on earth who wrote this script think that this, like, okay, so they invite the guy in. He gets super drunk and weirded out because he starts having flashbacks of all these memories that he has of basically his wife that he when he got hit by the car and he died. He starts having, because he didn't get the amnesia shot, so he starts like having these like flashbacks of her and stuff like that, and it's really messing him up. And so they end up letting him sleep there and crash and stay in the house. So now he's staying in the house with basically his wife and daughter. Okay. But he barely remembers his previous life. Okay. Like, who just moves someone in and just like, yep, just go ahead and stay. Just like, he doesn't leave. Like, he ends up living there for like a couple weeks or whatever, as they go through this ordeal where he ends up having to prove to her, hey, look, I'm your husband from the past. I'm your husband, and the Sybil Shepherd character is like, you're crazy or whatever, like, because she never really got over him, was the thing. Like, all over the house, she still had pictures of her husband, and she never really moved on from him, even though she had this a man that she was really, really close to, okay, that was kind of like hanging around waiting for his opportunity, but she just could never fully get over the fact that she lost this love of her life, right? So eventually she ends up believing him, and they're like, oh my God, we're back together. We're so happy we're in love. And she goes to her therapist and she tells her therapist, you're not going to believe this, but it's my husband from a past life. And he's here now. And yes, he's in this younger form, but it's fine, And then, he thinks, the psychiatrist or the therapist thinks she's crazy. And even the guy that has been waiting in the wings he's like, he's taking advantage of you and all this stuff. And they end up realizing that one of the ways that he's able to prove it to the guy who's waiting in the wings, which happened to be a work partner of his. Okay. He was a lawyer, and he had this evidence, you see, in this really big case that was going to like put this really bad guy away. But because he died that night, the camera that he had that proved it had been put away, and the wife had put it away with all his belongings after he passed away, never gotten it developed. So in order to prove to the friend now, basically, that he's really him, all right, he gets the camera developed, and he helps the wife find it, gets the camera developed, and ends up proving to the friend, like, look, see, now we can go back and we can fix this case, right? And so he's doing that, and he's trying to tell the judge, hey, listen, I got this evidence because I was this guy in a past life, which really I don't think was the best move to make in a court of law. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this evidence because who I was in a past life, So they end up, they're like, throw him out of the courtroom. They end up chasing him down. He falls. He ends up hurting his head. And when he hurts his head, he gets put in the hospital. And guess what? The angel with the amnesia ends up coming along. See, because what they had realized, or what the woman had realized, the mother character had realized at that point, was that she can't go back and relive the past, right? Like, it's just too much. Not only that, but her daughter, who had originally met with him again, she was like, I have feelings for him, and now he's acting all weird, and I don't even know why he's acting all weird. And they never even tell the daughter. Oh yeah, that's because that was your dad in a past life, right? And so how they ended up wrapping it up was the mother goes back and she basically says, like, do you remember any of that stuff? And the guy's like, no, I don't remember. And so she ends up finally realizing, okay, she's going to move on, and she's going to go with the guy that had been waiting in the wings this whole time. Now they're actually going to be a couple. And as they walk down the aisle, that's what this song video shows. As they walk down the aisle, finally, the daughter has her chance, right? The daughter has her chance to be with the guy that she originally brought into the house, and they just move right in. And that is the 1989 movie Chances Are. Is that not ridiculous? It's called Chances Are. Okay. But the song is beautiful. the song was a beautiful song, and I was really glad that they brought that to my attention. I know, right? Isn't it? It's so fun. Anyway, so it's almost like this. It's like this is what it feels like for me. This is what Spirit's been doing to me for years now. At this point, it's like someone literally went back and looked through my entire life and then made all these plans to drop all these little gifts, all these little treasures to remind me of who I am, what I love. Like, it's like I paid attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone came back and said, I paid attention, and here, this is what I saw. And this is what it feels like for me living my life right now. And I love it. And it's always exciting to look for the next sign, to look for the next symbol. Like, what does God want to tell me next? What does God want to share with me next? Like, I'm very happy with that. And so I'll tell you the next symbol. One of the cards that I pulled for on Eric Burkholder's radio show, we did a collective card pull for everyone who attended the conference. So that's why I'm going to post the link in the comments after this. Okay, because we did do a reading for you guys for everyone who attended the conference. What's the message? Okay, and one of the big major I pulled 3 cards. One of the cards that I pulled was the Hermit card. Okay, and it was the last one. So it's like, okay, this happened, and now we're moving into the Hermit. So collectively, that is like the archetypal energy that we need to be embodying after the conference. That's what all of us need to go, and we need to do our own self-reflection and our inner journey into our heart and figure out like what it is that was meaningful to us. You know what I'm saying? Like what are our plans for the future? That's been my next thing. It's like I've accomplished so many of my dreams at this point. It's like, are there any more dreams I can even think of at this point that I know there are, but again, you have to start off with dreams that you can believe in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I had to, I guess I did I started small and then we made big jumps and we started making big leaps. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the biggest thing I think people have a hard time with is figuring out, what do you even want? What do you even really want? You know, like, what do you even want? It took me a long time to figure that out. For a long time, I wouldn't really even ask for much. Because I want to be sure. I want to be sure in what I'm asking for, especially if I know that I have a tendency to get what I ask for. Then I guess I better really know. You know what I'm saying? Oh, someone's saying hi. Good to see you, Sugar Bee. I like that name. So anyway. Oh yeah, synchronicities. So we're going into Hermit mode. So here's how it showed up for me. So I pulled that card and I'm like, what is the Hermit mode? Like, what does that have to do for, like, what do I need to do with that? You know, and then it kept appearing. Okay. So one of the pictures that I had taken in my time hop happened to be, I was using the inspiration of the Hermit to take this picture. And that's why I kind of like made it into like a Hermit card and I had posted it on Facebook. So the Hermit card, it showed up again. So it's like, okay, they're like really, the universe speaks in symbols. So they're really telling you like, really understand, go into the archetype of what the Hermit is. What does that really mean? You know, and then lastly, so I am really going to do some deep diving into that. And lastly, I ended up going and getting this, me and my daughter, we picked out these little mini figurine of a Hello Kitty mystery mini figurine. And tell me that this doesn't look like a Hermit character right there. The lantern gives it away, right? Like that's exactly what I was doing. I was holding a lantern in my picture from 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, a couple days ago, I had taken that picture. And so there is the pattern. We got the Hermit pattern. I'm wondering if that's going to continue on into the future. Like if every year around this time, I guess it would make sense even with last year, considering the conference, but this was a 2 years ago one though. So that's very interesting. So that's just something, like I said, I'm just spouting off what I've been going through. Wait a second. Let me see what Jason said. Was that a spoiler? I guess I'm a few decades behind. You're fine, Jason. It's such an old movie. I mean, you can go and watch it. It's really, they called it a romantic comedy with whimsical romantic comedy. That's what they called it. But I used to love that movie. I really did. I remember watching it so many times. It was so funny to me. Okay, so all right, let's see what else I want to talk about. So we had the heart songs. Oh yeah, the Ten of Swords. So that was another thing that's kind of been on my mind a lot lately. Because I hate change and I hate endings. I'll just say that right off the bat, okay? And not that long ago, it felt like I was going through a Ten of Swords type of situation or moment. You know what I'm saying? Like when the song Death Came Through by Melanie Martinez, and the Nine of Swords was chasing me. The Nine of Swords was haunting me until I finished. I think even the last stream was when it finally, I felt like, stopped really chasing me so much, because it was like all these things I have to finish, all these things I still need to say, I haven't communicated yet, and I need to get it all out. And then what comes after the Nine of Swords, though? It's the Ten of Swords. Okay. And so during this time, it's like, I don't know, I guess when you get signs like that, it's almost like, no, you're like, no, I don't want it to be a Ten of Swords. Because what's the Ten of Swords about? Like, what's ending? Like, what is it? It's a big, harsh ending, it feels like. That's what it's supposedly symbolizes, right? Well, I've been studying more into the tarot and the Kabbalah and how it relates to the tree of life and the different paths of life. Okay, not only that, but how the tree of life and tarot can also be related to the tree of death. Okay, and so I'm comparing those and contrasting those and seeing how it is that we are able to use the tarot to integrate the shadow aspects of ourself, so that way we can be living and creating it from the tree of life. Because there's the top of the tree of life, there's this thing, they call it the abyss, basically. And so like there's these 5 different tarot cards that they're like the life paths. Okay, you have to take one of these in order to hop over the abyss to reach that full self-actualization, which is like the Magician and the Fool. Okay, like those are the highest points. It says basically it's like unlimited potential and then structured potential with the Magician. All right, but you have to cross this abyss. Okay, so I'm going to get into more of that later on because I have some other ideas about it too, because I'm pretty sure there are 72 cards in the tarot. Am I wrong about that? Someone check me if I'm wrong about that. But I had this idea about the fact that there are 72 cards in the tarot, and there are 72 supposed names of God or names of God's angels. So I'm starting to think that maybe those are the 72 aspects of God that we can all embody at any time. Okay, and so that's what the tarot is really doing, is that it's honing in on the different energies of which aspects of God that you're embodying, because we are all God. So we have all of that potential. We are the Fool. You know what I'm saying? We have all that potential inside of us. Okay, but what does that have to do with the Ten of Swords? Because that's what I originally came here to talk about, because I don't like Ten of Swords. No one who likes the Ten of Swords. Now I kind of like the Ten of Swords, though. And I'll tell you why. Because the way it was explained to me in this way, this actually made a lot of sense to me. Okay, so the Ten of Swords basically can be the point where you have thought about whatever it is that you wanted to think about. You have thought about it long enough. Okay, it's time to either make it manifest or be done with it, type of situation. Okay, like in the classic Ten of Swords, like I guess the guy, usually they have the as above so below. They only have the so below motion in the Ten of Swords, which is like you've hit rock bottom and now it's time, and there's like this black sky above them, but that's like the abyss. Like it's time. Like you either manifest into reality what it is you have put so much time and hard work and effort into thinking, or you be done with it. And I just think it's so funny because it actually lines up. It lines up for me when I was getting those signs. Was when I was actually finally taking the thing that I had been daydreaming about, the thing that I had been asking for, and we were making it manifest into reality. And at that point, then you have a whole new can of worms, because when you're thinking and you're just in the thought space, it's completely different than when you're dealing with things in the physical matter reality space. Okay. All right, hold on. 78 cards in the tarot. Okay, so I am a little bit off. So there is 6 more than the 72 angels. So I'm wondering where that will fit in, and I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out because I know I'm onto something. I can sense it, So just hold off on what I'm saying about that stuff, and I'll talk more about that later. Because I plan on going over what these life paths are. I plan on going over where they fit in the tree of life, because some part of me is remembering it. It's not like I'm like when you're bringing something back from the past that was already a gift of yours, a skill of yours, something that you're supposed to awaken. It's more like a remembering. And it's easier. It's like when I was becoming a midwife, like that was the easiest thing I ever was able to do. Like, cause I just did it naturally, instinctually. I could read a book on midwifery, and it was like, oh wow, I remember all this now. Yep. I've always known that. And this is what you do. You know what I'm saying? And so that's like kind of what's been happening with me when it comes to tarot, the tree of life, and just all, like, even the planets astrologically. Okay. Like, it's amazing, like the different points where the cards fit in and where the planet symbols fit in and how those affect the cards. So it's like it's tying astrology and tarot together, which I just think is amazing. And maybe that's why I've always kind of been drawn towards astrology too, but I'm just not as good at reading birth charts and stuff like that as I am at reading tarot polls, and tarot spreads. So that's kind of where I'm going with that, Thank you, Geraldine, by the way. I didn't say thank you for that. Okay. So what else? What else has been going on that I can remember here? Okay. So sometimes, like I said, they just tell me something. They just say like a word, okay, or like a phrase. And then it's up to me, because I usually don't know what that means. That's what makes it more meaningful. Okay. That's what makes it a puzzle piece. Like, that is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be giving our life meaning. Like, this is what this is what so many people are lacking and so hopeless and depressed and devoid of purpose, because they have not been taught how to give their life meaning. So that's part of what I feel like I've been doing out here for all of you guys, is showing you, like, this is how I've been able to give my life meaning. And God only just continues to reinforce it for me. And so that is why I keep following this path, because I'm bound and determined, to know my true self, to know my true nature, to know my true purpose here, what I came here for, what my mission here is for. Okay. And just how do I fulfill that in the best way that I can, where I don't fall into the abyss, or I don't start practicing the tree of death. Because one of the biggest dreams I ever had actually showed me that exact thing, was what happens when someone does use the tree of death as opposed to the tree of life. In my episode called The Angel Hunter, the artist and the angel hunter, I went into a dream basically about how it was a church, and there were these two long hallways, right? And one long hallway at the end of it led to a dark tree, a tree that was in the shadows. And it had this guy there that looked like Snook, that nasty looking Snook guy from Star Wars. Okay. And he was doing black magic with killing birds and things in order to help foretell the future. And on the other side, this was on the left side, right? And on the right side, at the end of the hallway in the church, was a tree covered in light. And there was a girl there, and she was like fetching water out of this little pond lake, and she was putting the water into this cup, and she was handing it over to an angel, and the angel was taking it over to the Snook guy. Okay. And so that right there, even knowing that, like, wow, they were already telling me back then, that this is how you manifest. This is how you really can use tarot to manifest your dreams and your reality into the here and now. Okay. Because that is one of the other things I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about like I know I've crossed major timelines. You know what I'm saying? Let's say like you make a choice, and that choice is so big and it alters your reality so much. How do you think you're even going to know? How would you even notice? It's like that Mandela effect. Did we wake up one day and just know, oh, you know what? I think I should look up what the Berenstain Bears, how that is spelled. Because something just tells me, like, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So what are the signs? I'm asking God to tell me, like, what are the signs to tell you and let you know that you've been changing timelines and that you're actually headed in a better direction? right? So for me, I feel like what I noticed is when I was doing a lot of timeline shifting, see, now it's more grounded. Now I'm in a more stable, grounded timeline. I can just feel it. Okay. And when I wasn't, it was almost like I would wake up and I would be super dizzy and chaotic and feel thrown off and feel like motion sickness type of thing. So I knew back then like we were just jumping all over the place because I was trying to hone in on my abilities and how do I get stable with my thoughts, my requests, my desires? How do I line those up with my will with God's will? How do I line that up? So we're gonna figure that out together. This is part of the things that I'm planning on talking about and letting you guys know as we go on. Okay. All right, so we got through that 10 of swords. So yes, again, remember, it doesn't have to be a major end. Okay, what it's saying is it's an end to whatever it is that you've been thinking about and building up to, and it's time you either manifest it into reality, you actually take action, you like switch over to the rods, okay, or you accept that it's done, that whatever it was that you were thinking about and planning and all that stuff, it's done. Okay, so just take that away as a partly meaning there. All right. Okay. So, oh gosh, I almost feel like we should pull the fortune cookie. I don't know. I kind of want to get into some of the other things, but I heard my daughter just get home, and like I said, I haven't been feeling the best, so I didn't really. Oh, the things that they said. Okay, yes, we'll talk about that. So one of the things that Spirit has said to me recently, out of nowhere. Sorry, I am looking at my hair now. You guys know how much I care about my hair now that I had that dream where it changed, and I cried about it. Oh boy. The thing they said to me, I'm a little nervous about saying this, is they said the demon forge. What they said to me. They said the demon forge. I said the demon forge, and then they're like the demon forge. The demon forge. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is that about? What's the demon forge about? And so they're like, well, what do you think about when you hear that? You know? And I'm like, well, the thing I think about, honestly, is Adventure Time. And I think about the fact that Finn's first sword was made out of demon's blood. Okay, that was the only way that he could have control and power over the demons, was that they had to collect the blood of a demon. Like it was basically Finn's adopted father, because that's part of the hero's journey, is you're an orphan and you're adopted, right? Like you lose an arm at some point or a hand at some point. Like this is part of the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey. Okay, so Finn is adopted. Okay, and so his dad Joshua, he was raised with his brother Jake, right? But it's like not really his brother, it's his adoptive brother. Okay, and his father had he would hunt down cursed objects, in order to keep them safe. Almost, it kind of reminds me of that Lorraine and Warren guy, the paranormal investigators that would have that. They would take all those haunted objects and they would try to keep it safe. So that's kind of what Finn's parents were into, Margaret and Joshua. And so what he had done is he had captured this demon and he had forced it to give it its blood, and then they forged the demon sword, which was Finn's first sword until it was broken by the demon, came and got it back, like it was a fluke. But eventually, Finn actually turned himself, an alternate version of himself, by running it. Like there were two versions of him at the same time. And when he confronted that one version, one of them just like couldn't handle it and like exploded and turned into a sword of himself. So it's just something to think about since I'm talking to my collective here, because I know I only attract the people that need to hear what I'm saying. I trust that. I trust that if you're resonating with me and you're, drawn to this type of stuff, like this message is for you, and I hope that it resonates and hits you in whatever way that it needs to. So just so you know, this is what Spirit's been telling me. Demon Forge. I'm thinking about we need to forge some type of, what are swords? You know what I'm saying? It's communications. It's how we communicate. It's so if we're going to keep the demons at bay, so to speak. And what are demons even? That's the other thing I think about. Like, what are even demons? I really feel like demons are just corrupted human consciousness. There's an anime called Demon Hunter that I really loved. The first season anyway. I didn't really watch much past that, but the first season I loved it because it showed the beauty and the mercy of God's love. I really think it's because this guy who chose, his sister was turned into a demon basically, and he didn't want to kill her. He said, like, no, they can learn to be controlled. They can learn to harness that ability if they can remember their humanness. Okay, but most of the demons that he would come across did not. They didn't want to be human anymore. They didn't even remember how they ended up getting that way, and that was the mission for him. Was he would go to these different powerful demons that were taking people out, and he would force them to go back and look in time. Where was it? What was the turning point for you to where you decided, I'm going to go the dark path? You know, I'm going to go the dark path. And that's what changed them into a demon. And then every decision they make after that either makes them worse or less or the same. You know what I'm saying? So I think the point was for him to get them to that point. So that way they would then be willing to surrender to his sword. And it's like, okay, so even if we're talking about fighting our own demons, our own inner demons, we need to go to the demon forge. We need to have a sword proper to be able to fight our own inner demons, which I definitely like. But they're showing me mine right now. Like, oh, here. Yeah. We got it. We got that one. We'll be getting that one. Okay. And so, how long have we been going for? Like I said, I don't want to be going too long. I hear my daughter there. We're gonna pull the fortune cookie and the cards in a second. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. You know, the other thing I'll go into real quick, because I had a couple things on my promo. I honestly was just trying to throw some things out there because I didn't even know what I was going to talk about today. But I do want to talk about one of the other characters that I really love a lot, and it's from The Matrix. It's a character from The Matrix. See, when I watched The Matrix for the past couple of years, when I've been picking my characters, and I would watch The Matrix, Trinity really wasn't the character that I was drawn to, really. Strangely enough, right? Like, you would think everyone would want to be like the main character, right? But this just shows you, it's like, you're not always going to pick the same character as another person. And so for me, the character that I loved was Persephone. Now, if you remember, and now the reason I'm bringing it up is because I forgot to really make a big deal about this, but I got a new car, okay? And that car is an Equinox, okay? So I thought, I like really went into myself. I got to name this car because it's important to me to name things like this. I think everything has responds to consciousness and love. And so I'm going to name my car that so she'll last for me longer. I always got to name it something that relates to me. Okay, the past couple ones, what we had, Ruby Roundhouse. All right, I had Goldie once before. That was because my grandpa used to call me when I was a little girl, and because I had golden blonde, I had like bleach blonde hair when I was a baby, tan skin. It was so, I don't know, it's funny how different I look now. Okay, and then we had Laura. Love that name. And then I had the Arcadia, which I called Cassandra, which that was kind of funny. You know, I was like, that's the only name I could think of. I was like, Arcadia, I think of her, the Scorpion King, I think of Cassandra. So I'm like, okay, so for this one, we'll go with, we got an Equinox. Well, Persephone rules over the equinoxes, does she not? The story of Persephone. I love mythology. Okay, and the main character, I even refaced my face onto a picture of her, Persephone. Now, Persephone was married. She was married to a very, very old program in the Matrix called the Merovingian. Okay, and the Merovingian, he was quite happy and satisfied with his role and his ability to do the things that he did, you know, inside the Matrix program itself. But Persephone was not. She was not satisfied with this. She wanted to know what true love felt like on the inside. True love, a true passion. She wanted to know what that passion felt like inside her body again, because she had not had it for so long, because the Merovingian basically was like ignoring her because he was like, I love doing all this other stuff and this. And she was like, well, that's fine for you, but I want more, you know? And so years ago, or a couple years ago at this point, when I was going over this, I was like, yeah, you know what? My character for Matrix would be Persephone, you know? And so what does she ask for? She asks Neo to give her a kiss. And what does that kiss do? That kiss inspires love inside of her, because, you know, he tries to do it like the whole, you know, like, oh, it's good. And she's like, no. You got to kiss me like you kiss that woman. Like, I want to know what that kind of kiss feels like. You have to give me that kind. And once he does, what does she give Neo? The key maker. She gives him what he needs. You know what I'm saying? That key, that special key that he needs in order to get to that end goal of trying to help crash this fucking matrix and break us out of that, the system that controls us, so to speak. Okay, but lately I do feel like they've been changing. So I'm kind of tiptoeing a little bit over into Trinity land now that I have this new boyfriend that's been around me, right? I'm still a little bit nervous about it, but we'll see. But anyway, so this is who I named my car after, Persephone. Please pray that she lasts me a long time, that she lasts me many years, because she has been a great car so far. I put a little bit more extra money into her, and I do think she's going to last a lot longer. So, yeah. Oh, wait. Let me see what someone's saying here. I see something. Oh, you got an Equinox too? Don't you love it, Angel Lori? I love my Equinox. Oh, I'm glad that it's resonating for you, Matt. I'm glad that it's resonating. Hello, Matt. Wasn't your screen name LG14 before, though? I thought that's what you told me your screen name was, but now you've changed it to hello with a little star. I do like that. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, they're great cars. Okay. All right. Oh, gosh. Okay, two more things, and then, you know, because I can talk about this other stuff another time. I don't have to talk about every single thing on here. I want to bring this to the collective conscious awareness, because I'm a little bit pissed off about it now. There's this show that I used to watch on Adult Swim, and it was called The Heart She Holler. Okay, now this show was so freaky. Let me tell you, it's fucked up. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you know, definitely go take a little peek at it. But knowing, like, okay, like a Tim and Eric type of show, but not with all like the different like it's like someone who has no attention span, so they break it down into a bunch of little different clips, right? No, this is like its actual storyline. Okay, but it's fucked up. All right, and the main actor and writer, I'm pretty sure, is this guy named Patton Oswalt. So put him on the list, because rewatching this show, knowing all the code words and all the phrases, all the FBI slang and lingo for, you know, child stuff, right? This guy is in the club. This guy is a bad guy. Like, let me just tell you the premise of how it even opens, okay? It opens with, there's this small town, and the main patriarch dies, okay? And the matriarch is this old woman who supposedly she cannot die, but she doesn't want to run the holler. So Haas, the main patriarch who died, he decides to break out a son that he's been keeping hidden, like in the walls in the house, okay, like completely unkempt, breaks him out. He's like, okay, son, now we're going to clean you up, and you're going to be the runner of this Heart She Holler. And the only thing that this guy says for the first entire episode is hot dog. Hot dog. At one point, they even have children, unkempt, like just dirty children, the mother basically keeps them under the bed and doesn't let them out. And the ending of the episode, it taught, like, the children are talking. They're like, wow, wasn't it amazing seeing what the outside world is really like for the first time and everything like that. And I do remember when all of that stuff was coming out, when, you know, number 17, I don't even want to say the word, because I don't want to trigger it into the algorithm at all, but, you know, the letter 17, when all that stuff was finally exposing us to the truth about reality and stuff, right? And all of those things came out. It's just like Patton Oswalt. I remember him being on his tweets. I remember his tweets being really just obscene and disgusting, where he basically was saying that he likes little boys to touch them and stuff like that. Well, if you go and you watch The Heart She Holler, which you can for free on the Adult Swim app or wherever, you just search it. Tell me that's not completely demonic stuff. Tell me that they're not totally they're mocking us and they're putting it in our face. And I'm sorry, but he's another one inside. It's burning in me now, where it's like, I am, if all we can do is, like, okay, because you remember, let's go all the way back to what I was saying at the beginning. How does this telepathy stuff work? How are we impacting each other with our thoughts and our feelings? Like, did I impact that girl with my own thoughts and feelings when I was like upset with her? And she sensed that. And then she came at me and was like, I heard you were saying these bad things about me, right? Like, what if that's part of what people who feel like they're targeted, what if that's really part of what it is? It's that someone with a powerful telepathic mind is thinking about them and is sending those emotions their way. So I'm just saying, I mean, I'll leave it general at that, but Patton Oswalt, I am going to be thinking some things. If this is true, if that's a possibility, that's how it can happen, then I don't want these people to think that they are just going throughout the world doing these things unseen. And that brings me, I guess, back to the other thing that I was going to mention, which is, what the fuck is going on with Trump? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, is this all part of the plan? Like, is it? Or have we all just been had? You know, like, I don't know, because I see this conflict now in the politics where it's like anyone who goes against Trump, like the MAGA people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a MAGA person, but if you even say this, like go against what, like the whole Israel stuff, you know what I'm saying? If you go against it, there's like a whole slew of MAGA people that are ready to just completely disavow you and disown you from the group, and saying like, oh, like, no, Trump is like king savior guy. Like, he's like, no, he's not. He sounds to me like, I hate to say this, but it sounds to me like what happened was he did get found to be on the list, so to speak. Like, I know people are going to bat for him left and right. I see it. Like, if he was on the list, they would have done it already. If he was on the list, you know what I'm saying? Well, what else explains all these crazy fucking actions of his? I'll be happy to be wrong, okay, if it really is just some plan that we're all just supposed to wait and go along with. But part of me kind of feels like enough is enough, you know? And I feel like that is why it's so important for all of us, the more bigger group of us, consciousness wise, to get into alignment. Because if we can affect each other, if we influence each other, like the 100th monkey effect, I'm sorry, but it is time for a fucking uprising. I'll just flat out say that it is time. I like, there's more of us than them, you know? Like, I'm tired of living in a world where bad things can happen to children in the ways that that they've even thrown in our face. You know what I'm saying? That I hear about on little YouTube shorts and stuff, where it's like, these people were arrested today because they were selling their children, you know, and keeping and doing all these things to them, like adopting, like this couple of 6 people adopted 9 children and basically were using them as slaves and stuff like that. It's like, I am tired of living in a world like that, where that is even allowed to exist. I'm tired of living in a world where, I don't even want to say again, I don't want to trigger the words, because I see all these other YouTube influencers and stuff like that where they won't even allow them to bleep out the word, or they'll change the word, they'll censor themselves. And it's like, if they're doing that because they know that the algorithm will do that, I already don't get enough play as it is, so I don't really want to listen to that. Like, I guess I have to really just trust that my message is going to get to the people that it needs to get to, and not the people who it's doesn't need to get to, right? But I know I'm just, we got to find a way to all come together. And that is the biggest thing I think that I've noticed, is that, like, because the dark ones, their biggest strength really is that they all have that one fucking goal. You know, even if it's just service to self, they have that one goal. You know, I feel like our community is like, we're all focusing on all these little different things. And granted, their things are worth it. They're good things, but they need to be brought. We need a general, broader one brought in and honed on even if it's just bringing us all into the highest version of ourselves, so that way we can help be that example, radiate that out, and start bringing everyone aligned to the high, because the highest version of ourselves, the highest version of the collective of men even, would never allow this stuff to happen if we were just in alignment. That's my thoughts. That's my feelings. Oh, wait, let me see what some people had to say here, because I am curious. I am. Okay. So you trust the plan. Okay. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I like hearing that. Okay. Well, then what is going on with the, why not the Epstein stuff? Like, why not be like, okay, so this is what when I'm hearing you say that and I'm reading that and I'm tapping into it, and it's like, okay, well, I can see a possible play of where it's like, okay, well, we have to do this stuff first. So it's like they want to go after the Obama Russiagate Hillary scandal first. That, and it did seem like there were a couple clips where I saw where they brought out where people were actually had seen so like who was it, Dan Bonin, I can't say his last name. I hope you know who I'm talking about. But he basically said that he put out a really cryptic tweet where he said that he saw something that changed him forever, and that we can't run our politics. We can't run a country like this. And there was another woman who said that she had recently seen a video that was just so horrendous it will never, she'll never unhear it. You know what I'm saying? And I really think it's that Frazzle Drip video. So I'm wondering if that's what they're like, they have to break it in slowly, if that is the plan, right? Like but then are we saving Israel for last? And if we are, why are we supporting them then? Why is Trump acting like he's supporting them? Because I'm all for being a supportive person, I'm like all about supporting someone who's doing the right thing. But this is really starting to look really not great, in my opinion. Like the Palantir stuff, the whole surveillance state stuff, like what they're doing there. Like how far does this need to go before they start doing the actual things that they said they were going to do with the arrest and everything like that? I guess that's what it's going to take for me. I need to see that arrest, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Sugar Bee. I'm thinking it was that video. Okay. I see what you're saying, Jason. I see what you're saying. Bonnie, yes. Bongino? But yeah, you said it. You said it, Maureen. Hold on. I'm reading just some of the comments. Did you hear about the nuclear submarine he's ready to station for warfare? I did not hear about that. Ooh, look at that. I was like so taken back by that. The whole camera moved. The whole camera shifted. I'm so in tune with myself, like in the camera. I'm just like, I'll just move it with my feelings. No. Oh, but Braden trusts the plan. Okay. Well, that does hold some weight. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I hope you guys are right, because in the meantime, my mind is focused on torturing Patton Oswalt. I don't know. That's just what it's part of what I'm going to do. That and focusing on the happiness that I have found and the connection I've made with God and tarot and all that. And like I said, I'm really focusing right now on studying Kabbalah and the tarot and the tree of life and the tree of death, and how to bring that out here in a way to where I can explain it to you guys. Because when I listen to it, okay, it's just like bingo, like light bulb moments. Everything is like, yes, like this is what I've been trying to say with the whole, even the mosaic. I have a mosaic example of how I describe tarot, and how it's like the tile pieces of the mosaic. They're all the same tile, different colors. Just how you arrange those tiles is what's going to give you the picture, right? So it's like, what path are you on specifically in order to get to your highest self and self-actualize the best that you can? Because that's really the point. I feel like the main mission. Like if there's like a minor mission and then there's like a major mission, like there's more than one mission that you even have. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we are in a spiritual battle, Sugar Bee said. Hello says, as within, so without I feel. The more I embody what I feel is true, then the rest of the collective will rise. Exactly. And again, if the law of assumption is true and we're all just one being, then that is what, like, the messages that you're hearing, that is what that your one self has been trying to tell you. So when you listen to me talk to you here about these things, it's like, this is the like with the Demon Forge thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very interesting. It's time for us to get ready to slay those things. So anyway, I think I went into a lot. Oh, I didn't go over the Space Dandy thing. The Chameleonian. We'll go over that next time. Don't worry, I won't forget, because I want to actually get into a bunch of the different Space Dandy episodes, because it's really about parallel realities and how different versions of you can show up in these parallel realities and what that can look like. And like the different, like the main thing about Space Dandy is that he hunts aliens, rare and unique aliens. And I just absolutely love the show, the anime. It only ran for 2 seasons, which makes it really easy to rewatch. And the concepts in it, like every episode was written by a different writer. So you always get, like, it really it lends itself to that whole, every what parallel realities can look like, you know, because sometimes Space Dandy dies and then you're like, well, how are they going to continue the show? And then they start the next show and he's alive again. It's like, oh, okay. And you figure that out by the end of the series. You figure that, like, that's how they explain it to you, right? So anyway, we're going to go over that. I have some plans for us in the future, since I finished the big ones, right? I finished the big parts of my story. So now we're going to go on to some of the other things that I'm really fascinated and interested in, and that is more Adventure Time stories, Steven Universe, Steven and the Crystal Gems, and the Holographic Light Beings. Oh, look how I pushed that back. Yes. We're going to be going over some of that, because that, I think, is very telling. And then there was another one. Oh, yeah, and Space Dandy. We're going to go over that. But anyway, just whatever God guides me to is what we're going to talk about. So, I can't believe you. Well, don't worry. You'll see Space Dandy, because I absolutely love this. I love Space Dandy. I love Steven Universe, too. Steven Universe is great. All right. So, let's get ready, though. Let's shake all that off. That was a lot of heavy stuff. Shake it off. All right. Let's pull this fortune cookie. Okay, yeah. What is the plug that needed here? 1, 2. Oh, that one. 3. Oh, that wasn't the right one. This one. Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. All right, so what does the collective need to hear through the fortune cookie? Oh, come on. And then we'll pull the cards, and then I will head on out of here, because, dear God, I said it was going to be a short stream. It's already been an hour and 15 minutes, just about. Okay. So, here we go. Oh, shit. Broke up a little bit on the there. All right, this is what we all need to hear. Always accept yourself the way you are. Always accept yourself the way you are. That's a good one. That's a sweet one. Very plain and simple, but true. Yes, true. Okay. Oh, that's right. You know what? I forgot. You know, that's honestly, that is why Jason said it doesn't come true unless you eat the cookie, right? That is why I always, after I pull it, I just eat a little tiny bit of it, like on stream even. That's literally why. Okay. So we got our cards. We're ready. I want to thank everyone who is here right now, and whoever watches this in the future. I just want to say thank you for being one of my subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I certainly hope that I can change your mind somehow and that you'll consider giving me a follow. Um, but even now, it's like I just realized, like, oh, because my Facebook is popping off. That's why. And so it's making me see the difference between what happens, like the small community that I have here with you guys. It's like I have a small group of people that I know regularly, consistently watch my shows and will give me the likes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it feels like a small village or something, right? Whereas my Facebook page has done blown up, and I literally like had even 100 new followers come like within a day and a half. I jumped from 7.7 to 7.8, and it has just been climbing. Like at the conference, I was at 7.4. So, and it's a completely different feeling. Like I said, like I don't even see the same names anymore. Like I used to recognize everyone who liked my stuff. Now I don't even recognize half the names that are on there. I if I don't catch the notification, like the only time I see actual people that I know's names on there, like you know how it shows you like this person liked it with all like 95 other people, right? And I only ever see people's names that I know now really early in the morning. That's it. And I will literally by the afternoon I'll click on them and it will be some name I've never heard of, don't even know. And it's like, wow, you know, but I am appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of all the follows that I get over there, but it just shows me that comparison and contrast of what that would feel like. I feel like I would feel a lot more like a fish out of water if I suddenly were to jump up from, you know, what I have now to like thousands of people or something like that. That might freak me out a little bit. I like the community that we have going here. So, not that I would be against it starting to do that, but I just know that it might change the flavor of how I come here and share with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I really do feel safe to be really vulnerable here with you guys. And I don't know how much that would change if it were to jump up like it has on my Facebook. Like, so I guess what I'm trying to say ultimately from the bottom of my heart is thank you to each and every one of you that come here and listen and participate in the chat and write in the comments. Um, you have no idea how much it means to me. It really does give my life meaning. It gives me purpose, you know, and I thank you for that. I thank you for being a safe place that I can come and I can share my true self without any holding anything back, you know, without having to hold anything back. So thank you guys. Let's pull. Wow. I love you. I love you guys. Okay. So let's go. Let's pull tarot cards for the collective. Okay. So maybe the one in infinite creator one light. I do humbly request that you please assist me in giving me a clear and concise reading for people who are here today. Please let them resonate with the message. Bring forward the energies that are most important to be heard and seen right now. What does Spirit want to tell us? What does Spirit want to tell us? You guys know that I'm an obsessive shuffler, so you have to just bear with me. I have to make sure the energies are in there right. So, all right, last one. All right, here we go. All right, first card. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Boop. First card we got the 7 of Cups. So emotionally, there's a lot going on here. Okay. So this is basically a time period where let's say if we're just coming out of the hermit card, right? We're just coming out of hermit mode. We may have returned from that journey with several cups in our hands, right? Like, oh my gosh, I feel this way about this thing. I feel this. I love all of these things, and I love all this stuff, and now I have all these things that I love sitting before me. But it's like if you're just putting a drop into each one in order to get those filled up, in order to become proficient or have self mastery over those certain things, like it'll take you a long time to just fill up one cup. So what I suggest is that you really need to keep searching your heart and figuring out which thing requires the most attention from you right now. Which thing do you want to manifest the most right now? Which one or two things, maybe even? Because when it comes to manifesting, emotion is very important. Like the things when I go off and I ask for things and I just say, God, like, could you do this for me, basically, type of thing. If I don't have the emotional frequency alignment with that thing that I'm asking for, it either won't happen or it'll take so long to happen, like it won't happen in a strong enough way, let's say. It's when my heart has been in alignment emotionally and I have felt the depth. That's why it's important to feel your emotions too, because your emotions are part of your manifestation tool. You have to feel that emotion that you want when it comes to like what it is that you're asking for. You have to. So when it comes to manifesting, like using with the law of assumption, in the law of attraction, whatever it is, like you have to say it in a way where it's like you're saying, thank you, God, for this thing I already have. You're feeling it. I already have this thing. Imagine what it would feel like to already have that thing and it's yours. And you're like, thank you, God, for this thing. When those are in alignment, God can move mountains in order to get you what it is that you want, because God can do anything and miracles are possible. There is nothing that can't be done, truly. If you truly believe it in enough, if you believe in that possibility, because it's more than just feeling it, it's more than just asking for it. It's also your belief, your ability to believe that it's a possibility that it could happen. And that's why the Course in Miracles was so important for me personally. And I recommend it to people because I think that is what helped deprogram me into finally allowing myself to be open enough to start believing in miracles. And then that is when they started happening. So the first card we got here is the Seven of Cups, which, to summarize, is basically like, okay, you have a lot of things that you love. There's a lot of things that you're emotional about. But it's time to really focus on and pick what feeling exactly it is that you want to feel the most of, right? What's the thing that you really want the most? Okay, so let's go ahead and pull the next card for the collective. What's the next part of the message? What's the next part of the message? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So my suggestion would be to ask God, which one is okay? What's my destiny, right? This is your destiny card. This is asking for knowing even that you are being guided by a higher force, by a higher intelligence, something that wants the best for you. It's like it's not a quick manifestation. Like the Star card tells me whatever it is emotionally that you're looking to manifest and bring forward, it is not something that's going to be quick. The Star card is it's a paced type of thing. It's like the bridge of unfoldment is what they refer to it in the law of assumption. Okay, so it's like focus on that one thing and then ask God, like, how do I have this thing? How do I manifest this thing into reality? How do we all get into alignment on the same page to where we can help ascend this entire planet? To where we can help end the suffering of what they're doing to children out there. How do we get in alignment with that? Because you might be surprised if that's our main goal and objective, the steps that God might give us to get to that might seem completely contrary or like what that's so small. Like go treat yourself and get yourself a donut today. Could be something like absurd, I know. But what if that's part of the first? It's like you have to learn to trust. And you have to learn to have faith, because you do have a destiny. You do have a fate. You do have a purpose, and you are being guided here. You truly are being guided. Okay, so I feel like we've stirred up a lot of emotions. We've stirred up a lot of desires, a lot of wants in us, and now we need to focus. We need to boil that down, okay, by asking God and our spirit team to guide us and help us figure out what that looks like and what that means. Okay, so let's go. What's the last? I really love that card, by the way. It's one of my favorite cards, if not my favorite. You know, I have a couple that are like on the same tier of like my most favorite, so it's like hard to pick. Very Seven of Cups about it, I guess you could say. Okay, so that's the last part of the message for the collective, though, for these next coming weeks' energy. Now that we're coming out of the hermit mode, what's the next part of the message? The last part of the message. What's the last part of the message for the collective? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Oh, baby. You got to use your voice. You're going to have to use your voice. You're really going to have to step into that divine feminine energy. Okay. Now, divine feminine, we all have divine feminine and masculine inside of us. So men out there that are listening to this doesn't mean that that this isn't meant for you. In fact, it could, but it even could be a woman outside of you. You know, it could be a female figure that maybe you need to turn to for guidance. But when I think of divine feminine energy and communicating what that looks like, okay, I think of like communicating in a way that's nurturing, communicating in a way that is flexible, right? We got these swords over here that are all bent. So being able to be flexible, be bendable, be compassionate, showing mercy, you know, that's like the divine feminine type of role. Okay. So this woman is very, you know, she's good. She's conquered a lot in order to be a queen in herself. She's had to overcome being the page and being the knight in order to get to this queen status. All right. And so she's very good at communicating. It can be an air sign. It could be, you know, an air sign woman. But she's also protected here. She's got a lot of things to protect over here. These roses, I feel like those are like a spirit team, a spirit family. And so they're right there with her. They're helping her swing that sword. You know, like she is protected. She might even be a little defensive though, because usually the swords characters, they've been through a lot. They've been traumatized, some quite possibly. The swords is the harshest of the storylines when it comes to the tarot. Okay, so she might be a little bit defensive, but ultimately she's nurturing and she wants to be able to give words of love and wisdom. And just trying to feel into that a little bit more here. Anything else that I might see? Just like a word bender. You know what I'm saying? She's able to communicate in a way that bridges people, that makes bridges for people, that helps make links and bridges for people intellectually. So look out for this type of figure in your life, okay? Or lean into this, your own part of you that is like this, all right? That is nurturing, that is caring, because that's like the divine father figure is the one that would be more playful, okay? Is the one that would be more physical, okay? This one's going to be more like, let me get you some food. That's nurturing. I'm trying to tell you, like, let me comfort you, let me hold you, okay? Let me give you the words that almost feel like that, like a word hug. I don't know if, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me give you the words that you need to hear in order to feel safe and secure inside of yourself too. Okay, so look for someone like that in order to help you, or that's what it's turning us into. So, you know, like when it comes, because we got the Seven of Cups, like I said, we got the Star, and then we got the Queen of Swords. So just trust that you are being guided in this way. And I feel like I need one more. I feel like I need one more card for clarification, but maybe I don't. What do you guys think? Do you think I should pull one more card for clarification here at the end? Or no? Hi, Queen Victor. Love to see you here. Yes. If you guys think this is good enough, we're going to be done. But I feel like we should pull one more card. You know what? Since I feel that way, let's pull one more card. Let's pull one more card for clarification on the ending. What's the last part of the message here? Going along with the Queen of Swords. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Wow. We got the King of Swords. So we got the King and the Queen of Swords. So basically, like, this is like, divine masculine and the divine feminine. Like, wherever it is that we're being led, okay, it is going to take us to a place where we are better able to communicate ourselves, our desires, our needs, our wants, be able to explain what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. So they're ultimately trying to take us to a place where we're able to be for instance, for me, like my dream, everyone kept confusing me as a speaker, right? Like the yellow ribbon in my dream, that was the same as the yellow ribbon for all the speakers at that conference. So maybe that's what, like, personally, just to give you an example. So I have all these cups, right? These 7 of cups, all these things I feel emotionally pulled towards. Okay, but I'm going to tune into my higher self, and I'm going to ask God to show me my destiny and to show me what the next step in that is. Okay, and ultimately what they're showing me is that it's being a better speaker in a way. Perhaps like actually being a speaker, at one of these conferences. Because I do feel like that's what I feel like this last couple streams that I've done, these bigger streams that I've done, I feel like it's really helped me solidify my own story in a way that I feel confident enough to share it with people. Because you can feel the difference and hear the difference when someone is sharing something with you where they know themselves and they know what they're talking about, than a person who's like, well, they know it, but they're like, are you going to believe me? Or like, is this going to, like, I don't know. Like, you can feel the difference in that type of energy. And there was somewhere else I was about to go with that. Like, even when I was at the conference, it was like people were fine. It was like I finally was able to say to people, like, they were like, well, what are you all about? You know what I'm saying? And I was able to say it to people in a way where it was like, well, here, like, this is what I've been going through. This is what I've been doing. Like, they're getting us to a place where we can express ourselves in a way that will actually be able to make changes in our life. Okay, that's all I'm really gonna say. That's all I'm really gonna say. Basically, ultimate unity between your divine feminine and your divine masculine, and being able to share yourself and being able to communicate with others. And and to do so in a very most powerful way. I mean, isn't that funny? We were talking about the demon sword, the demon forge, and the demon sword, and the two characters we got is the sword characters. It's just so fun. Okay, so I hope that helps. So let's see how far we got. All right, an hour and a half. That's not bad. Yes, the collective cards. That's not bad. That's not bad, guys, right? I like that. Divine feminine, divine masculine. Coming together there to actually speak. All right. Yes. Okay. I think that's it. I was contemplating like pulling cards for some of you, but no, I feel like I should just go, right? I was like not ready to do any of this today. I was like, I was even thinking about canceling the stream last minute because I had like a heart palpitation, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm freaking out again about my health, but no. I was like, no. If I don't come out this time, then I wouldn't be able to go again until next Friday, because my body is like, you're only allowed to go on Fridays now. My body gets into these patterns and these habits, and very Pentacles energy about it, and it just wants to do that routine. You know, like I'm even throwing, like I tell you right now, like my body is throwing fit about the fact that I'm only going to see my best friends once this year physically. Like it's like I'm just telling you, I have conversations with my body sometimes. It's just like, no. It's like we always see them at least twice a year. We always get together and see everyone twice a year at least, you know. And now they didn't get to go to that other conference, and so now we only had this one conference, and then it was over. And I was like so depressed about it for a week, and I was like, why can't we live closer together? Seriously, guys, why can't our community and the people that I'm close to, why do we have to be in all these separate different little places? And I guess the only conclusion when I ask myself that is that, and I even talked about it on the radio show with Eric the other day, was just like the example from Lord of the Rings, where it's like you have to light the beacons of Gondor in order to get the frequency of the planet high enough. Think about those beacons as like frequency amplifiers, and we are those. We are the beacons. And what good would a bunch of beacons all closed in one area? What good would that be? Like, no, the whole point when you go to these conferences is because you're already that beacon primed to be lit. And this is why I ask you guys to come to these things, because that is how we light each other. And that is how we take that out into the world, so that way we can hopefully light other people around us and continue to light those flames. All right? All right. So, on that note, I love you guys. I hope there's nothing that I forgot to say that I wanted to say. Because otherwise I'll be sitting there racking my brain about it. You know what I'm saying? Until next week, like I did with the last stream. There was one thing I forgot to mention in the last stream. I was really mad about myself for it. So I'm just going to say it now, so that way I can get off of my mind, and then I'm going to end this for you guys. Okay. And I talked about this song called Under the Cover of Darkness by the Strokes, which, you know, Strokes is my favorite band. Okay. And, the weird thing about it, I told you guys about this magic trick thing. It's this magic that actually happened with the tarot cards, where one of the cards hopped over to the other deck. And I forgot to tell you guys that this was the first time I had ever heard that song, right? But when I went and I watched the video, that's why I always have to check out the videos, not just the songs, not just the lyrics, but also the videos are going to tell me something. Okay, because in the video and in the Under Cover of Darkness, that's exactly what Julian Casablanca does. Okay, the opening of it, he takes a cup full of water, a chalice, and he pours water in it. Okay, which reminds me of the Ace of Cups, and that was one of the cards that was on the bottom of the deck before it switched. Before the Four of Swords switched to the Two of Cups, and the Ace of Cups stayed in this hand, in my right hand. And in the video, he has cards and he's shuffling them. He has the chalice, he fills it with water, and he lays 3 cards down, face down, and then he swaps one. He like a magic trick, he swaps one like this. And that's literally what happened to me when I listened to the song for the first time and was holding these cards. So, like, that's the type of stuff I'm like, oh, I forgot to say that part. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if that's Virgo mind, Virgo moon, Gemini mind. I'm not really sure, but you know how it goes. It's like you could say all these things, right? Like the entire conference, I had great times, said all these things, had all these interactions with people. I feel really good about it. But there's one thing I said that I feel bad about. And I'm like, wow, that's all I'm going to think about. I'm just going to sit there and be hard on myself and think about that one thing I said that I didn't really like that I said that or that way or whatever the fuck it was, you know? Whew. Like, no, we need to focus on the good. So if my example is any kind of example for y'all, let's be easier on ourselves and let's let that stuff go and just focus on the positive that we have going for us. All right. Yes. All right. I love you guys. That's it. That's all I have to say here today. Look for me hopefully next week. I'm trying to do this a weekly thing. If not, it might be bi-weekly, but I'll be back with things to talk about and cards to pull. And I love you all. Have a great night.